Hey everyone, welcome back to What's Up Sioux Falls. I wanted to intro this next interview because it is a little bit longer than some of our other interviews, but it is packed with very important information that we hope that you'll stick around for the end. Everybody has gone through seasons of waiting in their life that have been very difficult, whether it's waiting to get married, get a promotion, have a baby. But this author that we're speaking to today gives you advice on going through those trialing times. Take a look. Hey everybody, I'm Kelly Nyberg and welcome back to another What's Up Sioux Falls. We're interviewing someone totally different than we have before. We are interviewing an author of a pretty new book today. Welcome to Melissa Vande Kieft. Good to see you.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming. You sent this book to me in advance and it's called Living in the Wait. And I'm about a third of the way through and I absolutely love it. And chances are, well, I know you guys have, gone through difficult time periods in your life when you've been waiting for something big to happen to you, whether that be, I'm just going to use myself as an example, finding the right person in your 30s, getting pregnant, having kids, there's so many different things. That's what this is about, right?
Yes.
Is helping you get through those periods.
Exactly, yeah, because oftentimes, they are something unexpected, right? We're not prepared for them, and so I think for myself, as I talk about in the book, it really just catches you off guard and you're just like, well, what do I do during this in-between time to still have a fulfilling, joyful life and still find purpose during that time? Because often it feels like we're just wanting that outcome and that's where we find our purpose.
Right.
And there still can be purpose, I found, during that in-between time. Yes, it is difficult during that, but I feel like that can also there's still that time to find joy and fulfillment, I think, during that time.
Right, absolutely. I completely agree. So, and it's actually something I never thought about before either.
Yes, I've just been like,
either. Poor me. Okay, here we go. I'm the oldest of four. I'm the only one not in a serious relationship. Well, I am now, but I'm 35. I'm not married. I thought I'd be married at 25, and it sucks. Like you think, poor me, this isn't fair. Yeah. But there's ways to think differently. Yes. Before we get into that, I want to go back and have you share briefly your story and the inspiration behind this.
So my husband and I were outside, we were doing yard work. It was a typical late fall day, and I was just picking stick up after stick, putting them in a pile. And to those people driving by, they probably were like, this girl's just doing yard work. But inside, I was hurling those sticks at God. And the reason why is because those sticks were reminding me of what it felt like to have to wait year after year to become a mom. That was really what started our whole story and this vision of living in the wait. And so I just noticed during that time that I was becoming just this really angry, bitter, resentful person. And for us, this journey was a 3-year journey. And I think what was so difficult about it is that I think most of us like to be in control as people, right? That's something that we often desire for. At a very little age, that's what we are striving for, is control. And during these times of waiting, that's why I think it is so difficult, is because we often don't have control, right? There are many things that we have control of in our lives, but sometimes those things that we truly desire, that have a lot of value for us, are often maybe not so much in our control, right? Like, it's not something we can just go buy off a shelf, right? A house or a job or a spouse.
A man.
Yes, right? Or healing.
I wish. Like Carvana, go online.
Right?
Like, I want brown hair, brown eyes. Right? I wish, but no.
Yeah, it's not something that I like to say we can't beg, buy, or bypass our way into something like that. And so when we come across something that we're not able to do with that, it's extremely difficult, because I think we as a society are used to going and grabbing what we want. But those things that I feel like are of true value, that we really desire, are things that maybe we often have to wait for a little bit more. And that's what I experienced in my own situation, was to become pregnant, to become a mom. And that's really what kind of started this whole experience. But I found that time, right, as you even shared, that in-between time is something that we all experience, and that theme or topic is often different, right? It's not, for me, it was, like I said, it was starting with infertility is what we experienced. But I've encountered many, many other seasons of waiting since then.
Yes.
And really has guided me, this book and what I learned has really guided me as I've navigated through many of them.
Right, and we all go through so many periods of waiting to get into the right college, waiting for the right job. And your journey waiting was worth it. You do have a daughter, right?
Yes.
How old is she? She's adorable. You have a beautiful family. I stalked you on Facebook.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, of course, I think she's the coolest person in the world.
Yeah.
But so she just turned 3, and I think what was really cool, I love about this whole story, how it really came full circle, was I shared with you guys in the beginning, it was the sticks I was picking up, right? And they really represented just how frustrated I was and reminded me of I'm waiting and I feel stuck and I'm unsatisfied and unsettled in that time. And when our daughter was 1, she started walking around the yard and she would stumble around and we would watch what she picked up. It was like rocks and bugs and leaves and things like that. But we also noticed what her favorite thing to pick up was. And do you know what it was?
I do, because of the story.
Yes,
Sticks.
It was sticks.
And that is so cool.
Yeah, and so it really just, and what was so neat is in the beginning, you know, for me it was so painful, those sticks were that reminder. But for her, she picked these sticks up and she shared them with us, and it brought her so much joy, and they were a beautiful thing. And it just reminded me of how that process really did bring something beautiful, not just my daughter, right? Because sometimes we don't always know what that outcome is going to be or when it's going to come. But that process, that journey really did bring something beautiful into our lives. And these sticks were just that reminder when I saw how much she loved picking them up and sharing them with us.
Yeah.
And so
it was such a difficult time for you going through that, but looking at, you know, the outcome, having the daughter, and then now she's picking up and she's happy, and, you know, just that's a really cool story.
Yeah, just the whole, how it all came full circle. It always gives me goosebumps when I just think back to that time and how, you know, I would have never seen that, right? Like in the middle of it, it's hard to even know that anything beautiful or anything fulfilling can come out of a difficult situation like that. And just what I've learned in that timing and trusting that timing, which is difficult, it's just really cool to see, because I could have never written that right on my own. I could have never imagined that.
Now let's talk a little bit more about the writing before we go. Let's talk about the actual, like, what people are learning in the book about how to deal with the weight. And the relationship with God is so strong in this. So if you could briefly just kind of explain that to us. I do want to read this quote. If Jesus waited, it makes sense that we will too. And you're talking about Jesus knew what his fate was going to be, but yet he still was on earth living day to day in the weight of not knowing when it's going to happen. I mean, how scary is that? But let's talk quickly about the relationship with God and what people will gain from this book.
So for me personally, faith was a big part of this journey. I could not have navigated it without him and his guidance, and he really taught me these things as I was walking through this. And so I think for anyone who's reading this, I think one of the things is I would just encourage you to invite God into your weight. Oftentimes, and I know even for myself as you read, I was very frustrated with him. And I think it's okay to express that, how you're upset or angry with him, but also invite him in and have those conversations.
You're kind of like, God, why?
Yes.
I deserve this, I deserve this, I deserve this. Why are you not giving it to me?
And I think that's what's often difficult, is that I found, you know, I'm doing everything right. I'm a good person of what I was, you know, gauging myself against. And so it often is like, well, what's the deal? What's the hang up with this? And I realized that he's looking at the bigger picture. He has this bigger vision and design that he is crafting and creating. I'm looking at the right now, and he's looking at the future. And it was really cool, and I stepped back to realize, like, he had to bring my daughter into my life at the right time, so she was around the right people in her life, and she was connecting with the right people during her time. So that timing, when I sat back, it was like, oh man, it's not just about me. It is about the bigger picture and her story and the people she's going to impact. That really blew me away and made me realize, like, wow, okay, I'm still not okay with waiting, but maybe I can be a little more patient about it. So in the book, though, I share 7 truths. I talk about the truth tree, and there are really 7 things that I feel like people can apply in their lives to help them live in the wait. It's not about necessarily taking away that time, because I think it's unrealistic to think we're never gonna wait, because it is a part of life. It's more of, okay, how do we accept that and then work through that time and still find it fulfilling, find that purpose. And so I share 7 truths. It's with the acronym WAITING. So there's worship, acceptance, investigate, trust, intentional, new, and generosity. And so I would encourage anyone who's listening today, you can check out the book. It's on Amazon, but you can dig in deeper to learn a little bit more about what are those and how can we apply them. And it really is more to just manage and cope with that time. Like I said, not necessarily it's going to instantly take it away, because it's not. I can't do that. But it's more of how can we still make that time fulfilling, purposeful, help prepare us for maybe what is to come or that very thing that we're desiring.
Okay. Well, it is a great book. Again, I said I'm not much of a reader. I'm a third of the way through, but I do plan on finishing it. And we have to get going, but you did say you can find it on Amazon.
Yes.
You also have a website where you can follow up with her.
Yes.
Too.
Yes,
do you have a Facebook page?
Yes, you can find me on social media at Living in the Wait as well. So any of those places.
Well, definitely check it out. It's a quick read, so it's not going to take up too much of your time, and it will definitely be beneficial. Thank you for joining us today, Melissa.
Okay.
Love the book, and we'll see you guys next week at another What's Up Sioux Falls.